Hi everyone, we are back. We are back with episode number 3, or should I say part 3 of the success habits that you do not learn in college. Today our episode is about the push. Now this sounds a little bit strange, but there's 3 parts to this. So within the push, there's basically 3 success habits that you have to adopt in your life. Number 1 is taking action. Number 2 is to remain positive within that whole process. And then number 3 is to surround yourself with like-minded people, or should I say successful people, so that's number 3. Jason, up to you. So how you doing? Hello.
What's up, everybody? Hi, Joy.
How's it?
Oh, it's good.
I've started to learn to not completely laugh my bum off with your your goggles, but I have to say I'm still struggling to keep a straight face.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, so for the people that have not watched any of the previous episodes, please go back. We'll drop the links on the bottom of this episode. There is a part 1 and there's a part 2 with the descriptions as what is in those episodes below. And we are this is now part 3. So please subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell button so you can see all the other episodes that's also going to come up in the next few months, which is all about setting yourself up with great habits that you do not learn in college. Jason, tell us about this push.
All right. Welcome to the push. God, every time I take these things off, my eyes go crazy.
Well, they're kind of big, eh?
they don't let any light in. So when I take them off, it's like my pupils are all over the place. It takes me a minute to adjust, but I'm back. So the push. The push is taking action.
Mm-hmm.
You have been thinking for a while either about starting a business,
mm-hmm.
or you've maybe made some progress towards moving towards starting a business or whatever, but you've decided it is time.
Yes.
The push is taking action.
I love it.
Taking action. Words are just words. They die right here. Correct. On your mouth. If no action is taken, nobody wants to hear your BS about all the fantastic things you're going to be, and then you are still playing video games in your basement 6 months later. So the push is making that jump, making that leap, and even if it's just a small step towards the goal,
mm-hmm.
towards the start, you have done something. And oftentimes it is just that little thing that you did that really lights the fire to getting this whole entrepreneurial thing off the ground and rolling, and getting down the path that you're looking to get at. Yeah.
Yes.
So in the push, we have take action, we have staying positive along the way, and then we have, as you said, be with like-minded people. Yes. So let us begin. Again, we just talked about taking action, taking that first step, even if it's tiny. I know you're afraid. Get your goggles on and take a first step down towards the runway. Otherwise, you're never going to fly.
Okay,
God, those are terrible for my eyes.
But now, how do you take that first step, Jace? Because I actually have this question, and my podcast. So for the people that don't know my podcast, at the end of each and every episode of my podcast, and I've got the ones that I've interviewed people, I've got like 40 something out there. I asked the question, if you for the people that I'm interviewing, what advice would you give people that want to start their business really? And so Jason, this is then the same question I'm asking you. What would that push be? Because people really struggle to start a business, and it's not like I'm not judging them, because it took me 2 years myself, but I had to be down in the dumps, really desperate, and then that is what pushed me, to be quite honest. Is it the same for everybody? Because sometimes people don't need to be rock bottom before they actually start, right? So what is that push that you need? What is that thing that you need to get to take action?
Well, as far as what you're looking to start a business in, I mean, that's something that you're going to have to decide for yourself. And Joy, I know you've worked with people on this. And there's things that you suggest, like try to make an income out of a hobby that you enjoy doing, or things like this. I'm not sure what it is that you're looking to start a business in. I think that's probably a different episode. But once you've decided Is that me?
That is you. So once you've decided,
Lord, I'm sorry. Once you've decided, you got to take that first step. And now I know for me, when I was first starting out, the biggest first step that I made is I bought my domain name.
Yes.
That was huge for me. This was a tangible something that I can look at that I just paid for that said, I am this business.com.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that was huge for me. That was a definitive first step that I took, and that started everything else. After that, it's things like write up a minor business plan, get a whiteboard, write some of your ideas out.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that right behind you. Yeah, exactly. Writers and journalists and stuff like this, they don't publish articles and write books and stuff like that just out of nowhere. There's planning that goes into these things. And many people who are visual, you start to write out this plan on, say, a whiteboard or what have you. Now these ideas are coming to life. Now you have your domain name. Now here's what my business is going to be. Now this is a real thing.
Yes.
That is happening here. It's no longer fake, but you do have to take that first step. Otherwise, it's all just BS, and you're probably tired of that anyway. So taking that first step is absolutely huge, and you have to know that once you, and this leads into staying positive. Once you've decided to take the reins of your life and take control, a funny thing is going to happen, and it's going to happen no matter what. The people that are around you are going to start getting jealous.
Oh, yes.
The people that you thought for sure would be the most supportive when you started your video game company, those are the folks that will turn on you. And I don't always mean in a bad way that they don't want to be associated with you or anything like that. But when somebody sees somebody else taking the reins of their life and it's something that they've wanted to do for a long time, but just never had the wherewithal to do it, that will come out.
Yes.
You have to be ready for it, and you have to know it's just one of the little hurdles that's going to come along as you start a business. It's part of the growing pains. And so be ready for that. That is also going to be a part of when you take your first step. That's going to be a step that's taken towards you. So always be ready for that. Know that you're going to stumble along the way in this process. Oh, yes. Part of taking your first step is taking your first step towards your first fall. It's going to happen, and it's a good thing because we're always learning. Yes. We're always learning as we go along. We're constantly tweaking, and we've talked about this in these habits before. We're constantly making adjustments and corrections. You have to be willing to know that you're off course for a little bit to be able to adjust to get back on and further yourself when you start out. So these little things that are going to happen here and there, know that they're coming, and it's all good. It's all good. So just be ready for that stuff. Now, when I say, and we're going to move into the second one here, remaining positive. It's remaining positive when these things inevitably happen, like people turning on you. You're going to hear things like, that is the stupidest thing that I have ever heard for a business.
I'm laughing. I've heard that myself.
Yep, right? That's going to be coming from people that smash their alarm clock 55 times every single morning because their shit is so bad.
And it's your closest friends and family that would say these things to you.
They're the worst ones.
Yes.
You fail at everything. Oh, that's good. Thanks. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear nobody's ever made $1 doing what you're trying to do. And you are just going to be where you are 10 years down the road. And you be ready for that shit. Be ready for it. But I'll tell you what, when things start to happen, it becomes so sweet. Especially when those people say, oh, how's your video game business going? Well, I made $300 this month. And then you're going to hear, can't live on that. or something else, you know what I mean? But they will know that you have started and you said you were going to do what you're going to do. And this is my business.com is out there. It's a good feeling, but just be ready for that stuff. Stay positive. The second thing is, and I brought it up last episode, and it was really for this episode, is pulling the rose out of the buckets of shit. So we talked about that in the capacity of everyday life.
Yes.
Last episode,
Mm-hmm.
it's especially as important in business as well. Things will inevitably go wrong.
Exactly.
Learn from your mistakes along the way. If you're repeating the same, even little mistakes in your business for months and months and months and months, you're not getting anywhere. You're not advancing yourself. You're not advancing your business, and people are going to see those same mistakes being made, especially the people you're trying to recruit into your business.
Yes. That's
right.
But that's also why that's another episode for another day. But one of the episodes coming up is that me and Jason is going to talk about, like basically prevent yourself from making the same mistakes and how you can overcome those as well. But that's an episode for another day. Now, Jace, as far as staying positive goes, so basically, and I mean, this happened to you, this happened to me, and hundreds of thousands of other entrepreneurs. To stay positive in your business can be either very easy because it comes naturally, or it can be really hard. So some people have a negative mindset because, the subconscious, conscious thing, I'm not going to get into that now. But then say you're a positive person and you have a negative people, surrounding you. And I know that's part 3 of this episode too, surrounding yourself with the right people. But now say you have negative feedback on your Facebook post of your family or whatever that might be. How do you remain positive then? Say you have all these people just nagging you, this is not going to work, you're going to fail, oh no, this is not a way to make money, you need to go get a job, blah, 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 blah. How do you remain positive though? What is that hack that they should implement to stay positive? Because that's hard.
The very second that you give in to somebody's negative BS, you validate what they're saying.
Yeah.
Right? The only way resistance is created is if I push against it. Right? If I say that there's no wall there for me to push against, there's no resistance. Don't validate what they're saying and give into that, because now you're going to start thinking that way. And that's exactly what we don't want to do. Now, if there are people that you were looking to bring into your business in a capacity of they're going to be a client or something like this, and they have something very negative to say, look exactly at what they're saying and tell yourself, is this something that I need to respond to for the betterment of my business? Or is this just coming from a person who this is just what they do?
Yes.
And it's really going to depend on the type of business that you have. If you're in like a service industry where you're serving other business owners or something like this, that's a little bit different than if you're selling widgets online. And when you're responding to negative comments between those two industries, they're a little bit different. But be careful who you lend your time to.
Yes.
Our time is our most valuable asset.
Correct.
Be careful who you lend it out to. You don't have to validate negativity unless it's absolutely critical that you address something because it could damage your business in some sort of way, shape, or form. If it comes via Facebook, you can block somebody, you can delete a comment, whatever, but sometimes it is better to address what they're saying if it's a simple logistic issue, that you responding to it and fixing the issue, and for everybody to see that you did that is now a positive thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you really have to decide on a case-by-case basis, but you do not have to give in. But I will tell you this: in a coaching business, you will get a lot. Oh, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and I mean, you never know. But always try to find and be fascinated with people. Find the humor and fascination with how humans operate and work and talk to each other. I mean, just go to the grocery store and have a listen on how people connect and comment and talk to one another. It's crazy sometimes the level of anger and hate people have for one another in their undertones when they're talking to others or whatever. So if a little of that comes your way, find the fascination in how this person now has a thought process that this works for them. It's just unbelievable sometimes. So I would say be fascinated and humored by people at all times. Yeah. Definitely helpful for me.
That's a good idea, because then also when you have a service business and you're just fascinated by people, that means you will listen to them, you'll listen to the problem, and you'll just ultimately become a great coach. That's the part of it.
Absolutely. And if you can turn somebody around and somebody has a you know, a hateful way about them or a hateful idea or something that's definitely coming from a place of fear and not love.
Yes.
And you help them turn that around together, and maybe you even have a laugh about, do you remember when you used to think this way, that my video game thing sucked? And now you're making video games too? Like, and you can have a laugh about it. That's even better, because now they understand it so well that they can go and help somebody else out along the way as
Yes.
well. So
Yes,
yeah,
oh, that's very true. Also, me and Jason talked in part one, we were talking about, and I was mentioning a jar where you put in positive affirmations in there. And that's also a way to keep you positive, you know, like just thinking of all the great things. And it just boils down back again to gratitude, like we talked about in the first part of this series. And gratitude is a great way just to keep positive, because there's so much wrong in this world. So keeping positive definitely helps as well, you know, by thinking of all the great things that you have in life.
yeah, you get into
Yeah.
thinking about life from a gratitude standpoint.
Mm.
You'll see how easy it is to deflect off negative comments that come your way. They don't
Definitely.
they don't
Exactly.
mean any they don't
That's
mean
me.
anything.
I went from the very beginning when I probably had my first negative comment about a year and a half ago. And it really made me so angry. Like I actually shaked. I was so cross. And I flipped my lid about this because the guy was so incredibly rude. And and from there, I just deleted it. I messaged him and I told him off, you know, for like, you know, basically just saying to him, if you don't have anything nice to say to people, just shut up, basically. But I went from that mind about it to now I'm literally laughing when I see a comment like that. And my first thought that pops into my head is like, I'm on the right path, baby. That's why you're being like that with me. You're jealous. And
Yeah,
that is what you should be doing, you know, just look
it's
at them and say,
it
well, you're the
is.
link.
It's like you said, it is so funny, some of the stuff that people will come out with, and it's like, and listen, you know, if part of this entrepreneurial journey of yours is going to be being a public figure in any type of way, you have to be conscious about how you look. And you know, if that's part of your gig that you're starting, you certainly better be ready for the barrage of some funny stuff coming your way. And it's good times. Just, you know, you need to work on how to deal with those things. Come visit me at Laser Tune Connections. I'll get you tweaked up. I'll get you a pair of goggles, and you can't see any negativity when you put them on.
Well, there you go. There you go.
And
And
Joy bought these for me, by the way. Thank you, Joy. I just want to get that out there. I didn't go pick these up. Joy sent these to me from New Zealand.
well, technically, I send them to you from Amazon, but yeah.
Anyway, good stuff. Yeah, so remain
Yeah,
positive along the way. Be ready for those little hurdles, and I do call them little, because
true.
the negative comments, they don't mean anything, and the course corrections are just something that has to be done in business.
Yes. And you know what? And I just want to like just have one more thought on that as well. Because I get a lot of negative stuff in my business, and please do not let it drag you down, because if you, as soon as you allow those people to drag you down, and as soon as you allow those thoughts to enter you, you're going to struggle to be successful. So just, you know, follow all these episodes, listen to Jason, reach out to him if if you really feel like you're struggling to stay positive, because he can definitely talk you through it and help you through that. Okay, let's go into number three of part three, which is then surround yourself with basically positive people, right? That's part three.
Oh my God, this is so big. You are a product of your environment. You're not, don't go out and you're not,
Yes.
you have not created, you're not going to create a successful Bible printing business, and then you're hanging out with the gangs on the street after.
Yes.
You are going to take a look at the people that you keep company with.
Correct.
Take a look at all of them.
Yes.
You are an average of the company that you are hanging around.
Correct.
Without a doubt. If
Yes.
you want to be a successful entrepreneur, that is exactly who you need to be hanging out with. And I'll tell you what, and I don't just mean that for just to look at that from a business standpoint, but if you want to be a successful entrepreneur and you're hanging out with a group of people that care nothing
Yes.
about moving forward in life and being the best that they can absolutely be, both personally and professionally. If these are not people that are in your circle of influence, your sphere of influence, you got to find a new sphere. You have got to find a new sphere. You want to be listening to people, comments from people that are doing it better and faster than you're doing it. That's how you get better.
Yes.
You know, I cannot stress how important this is. My business is failing. Okay. Are you taking these steps? I'm doing all that. All right. What time do you stop working? 3 p.m. Where are you going after that? To the bar. And then what? Well, I get fucked up, but I think about my business a lot. But me and my buddies go get messed up, and we do shots and we drink. Oh, we love it. No, nope. You gotta, you really gotta take care of, you know. And so, Joy, I know that you do this a lot. You hang out in a lot of groups that, well, I remember, especially when you were starting out, networking groups.
Yes.
How fantastic are networking groups, whether they're online or they have networking groups. You can look, at least here in the States, you can write in the local paper. They have networking groups that post, and they meet once a month, and they're for either entrepreneurs or they're for investors or they're for wherever. You can find them online. Go hang out at those groups.
Yes.
Say hi to people. Those are like-minded individuals that are looking to do the same things that you're doing, and they may just have some advice for you or vice versa.
Yeah.
Hang out with those folks. I'm not saying you have to drop all your friends of your entire life, but
no,
Jesus, don't be around the ones that are not pushing you towards your goals.
Yes. Yes. Look, if you're going to be surrounded, if you, like, sometimes you have friends that comes from childhood, and if they're negative, and as much as it's sad to break the friendship, you don't need to break the friendship, but just don't mingle with them and give them an ultimatum. I know it's sad, but you know, sometimes you have to do it. It's like, well, if you're not going to change your negative attitude about life and whatever else, I just can't be friends with you because you're not helping yourself or other people around you. That's just what it is. Sometimes it's tough because you have family that's like that. And that really makes it hard. But unfortunately, if you want to grow, that's a hard decision. You just have to do it. It's just, you know, you can't be surrounded by people that drinks and smokes and does all these bad things. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with a drink. I'm just saying, you know, constantly getting drunk and stuff like that. There's no point in surrounding yourself with people like that because you're not getting anything out of it.
And to your point, I mean, for me personally, the last relationship that I was in started to fall apart because when I decided that enough's enough, I'm about working for me now.
Yes.
You know, and there's growing pains that come along with that, and I had to remove myself from a relationship because the support wasn't there. It was the negative comments constantly. And no matter how much I tried to help that person understand the bigger picture of what I'm building here,
it just didn't help.
It wasn't enough. And that's not for me to take on.
Yes.
You know, I wasn't going to make that mine. That wasn't going to be a part of my business plan. And so when Joy says it, you know, it can happen very, very close to you, it surely can.
Yeah.
However, this is part of the process. You know, you want to be successful in taking the reins of your own life. It's a rocky road sometimes.
Exactly.
You better have the right wheels on to navigate it.
So you just have to basically raise your standards. You know, if you're going to be surrounded by poor people, you're going to stay poor. But if you raise your standards to be in an environment where, and I mean, it's sometimes hard to be in a physical environment that is successful. But you can, like I've done, you know, because I don't actually I'm living in a rural town. So, I mean, you know, there's not much surroundings around me people wise, but that's why I'm in all these great networking groups because it really helped me a lot, not just for success in my business, but especially I want to mention this, ClickFunnels when you're a ClickFunnels member, there's a community group. I think you don't even have to be a ClickFunnels member. And there is almost every single day, there is a positive story in there that somebody is sharing a success story where they've achieved something in life. And it's just really great to read these stories because that keeps you positive and it keeps you motivated and you're surrounded by these, you know, successful people, which is really fantastic. So, yeah. Networking groups is fabulous.
Huge. And I also I just want to make something clear. Just because you might have family members or friends that don't have a lot of money, that doesn't mean get rid of them.
No, exactly.
That means
Yes.
if you're going to have people in your life naturally that don't have a lot of money, but are just throwing you support and love, and again, pushing you towards your goals,
That's
those
beautiful.
are people you want to have around no matter how much money that they have.
Exactly.
But don't take negative feedback from somebody that has no money.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bring
Don't
you
take
down.
money advice from the broke. There's a reason why they're broke. So
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to make that clear. Oh, Jason and the goggle guy maybe get rid of all my family. now I'm broke. All I have is a domain name, and I have no family.
no, that's not what we want to do.
Did you get your goggles though?
Awesome. Thanks, Jace. Okay, so guys, this was part 3 out of part 4. So we will list the part 1, part 2, and then obviously, where you can go and find those episodes. So today, just a quick recap, we talked about taking action. So it's basically the push, taking action, remaining positive, and then surrounding yourself with the right people. Jason, as always, it has been amazing. Thank you, Jason, the goggle man.
No, thank you very much, Joy, and everybody out there. Appreciate you listening. This is great stuff here, and I'm definitely thankful to be able to come on here with Joy and pass some of this along. Good stuff.
Yeah, and we appreciate this because you know what, there's a lot of golden nuggets, and if you struggle with any of these things, I'm convinced if you just implement even just half of what Jason is teaching, already you'll be on your way to success, because it is really valuable stuff. And we're not just going to talk about habits going forward. We have a whole calendar planned out of episodes and golden nuggets and golden bombs, or whatever you want to call them, that we're going to release in the next few months. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up, and I'm very excited for that. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell button, and we will be in touch. Thanks, Jay, so much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Joy. You as well. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.